Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. India and Pakistan have a history of diplomatic controversies. In February 2019, both neighbors will be engaged in yet another showdown when they make their arguments in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case at the International Court of Justice. But just weeks ahead of the crucial hearing, India got a shot in the arm with newspaper reports claiming Pakistan has voted for a resolution at the United Nations that could overturn its own arguments in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case. The resolution in question refers to granting consular access in a similar case. Pakistan itself has been withholding consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav for over a year. Its vote in favor of the UN resolution, in effect, invalidates its arguments in the Jadhav case. Today in Depth, we look at how India's case will be strengthened by Pakistan's support to the UN resolution, whether it will help India gain consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, and also the story of Kulbhushan Jadhav so far. Kulbhushan Jadhav was arrested by the Pakistani forces on 3rd March 2016. He was accused of being an undercover agent of India's primary intelligence agency, RAW, and also of being involved in propagating sectarian violence in Balochistan. India, however, claims that Jadhav was abducted by Pakistan from Iran, where he had business interests. In the case involving Kulbhushan Jadhav in the International Court of Justice, New Delhi scored a victory of sorts against Pakistan. Islamabad voted in favor of a previous verdict delivered by the International Court of Justice. This was among one of the crucial submissions by India before the ICJ when it challenged the death sentence and denial of consular access to Jadhav.
They are saying is that ICJ does not have any jurisdiction to rule on this case. And in any case, Article 36 of the Vienna Convention is not applicable to this case because he was a serving naval officer. But all these arguments, because these were similar arguments that had been put forward, advanced by the United States also, and those arguments had been set aside by the ICJ earlier. These arguments were set aside by the ICJ even now when the provisional determination was given in the case of Kulbhushan Jadhav.
According to a Times of India report, last week Pakistan voted along with 68 others, including India, in favor of a UN resolution calling for urgent, full and immediate compliance with the ICJ Avana judgment. The Avana case dates back to 2004. It relates to 54 Mexicans who were sentenced to death in the United States without the American authorities having notified Mexico. The ICJ, which is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, held the US guilty of violating Vienna Convention on Consular Relations by denying Mexico consular access to its citizens sentenced to death. However, even after 14 years, the United States has not implemented the ICJ order. In its submission in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case, India quoted from the 2004 Avena and other Mexican nationals' judgment, wherein the ICJ ruled in favor of consular access to citizens sentenced to death.
There were about 54 Mexican nationals who in different states of the United States had been arrested, had been detained, had been tried, had been convicted and had been sentenced to death by the different courts. And Mexico took the US government to the ICJ, and its contention was that Article 36 of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations had not been followed.
In May 2017, the International Court of Justice halted Kulbhushan Jadhav's execution on India's appeal pending the final verdict by it. In its written pleadings, India accused Pakistan of violating the Vienna Convention by not giving consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, arguing that the convention did not say that such access would not be available to an individual arrested on espionage charges. In response, Pakistan told the ICJ that the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations 1963 applied only to legitimate visitors and did not cover clandestine operations. It stated that Jadhav was not an ordinary person as he entered the country with the intent of spying and carrying out sabotage activities. India maintains that Jadhav's trial in a military court in Pakistan has been partial and that he was kidnapped from Iran, where he had business interests. Till date, no consular access has been granted in the case. India's requests for consular access have been turned down more than a dozen times.
This is what the Mexican government had argued in front of the ICJ, that consular access should be provided to them, and since it had not been provided, the United States had failed to comply with the provisions of the Vienna Convention, Article 36, and it is on that basis that ICJ held this order, this determination of the US authorities null and void, and said that all these 54 people should be allowed to have interaction with the representatives of their government.
In December 2017, Pakistan arranged a meeting between Jadhav and his mother and wife for about 40 minutes. The meeting took place through a glass panel. No private discussion between them was allowed. Jadhav's mother and wife faced harassment and ill treatment during the entire episode. Defending its action, Pakistan said it had been open and transparent throughout the meeting, but a comprehensive security check of the visiting kin was necessary. India slammed Pakistan for its insulting action on Kulbhushan Jadhav's mother and wife. Months later, in April 2018, India submitted its second memorial before the International Court of Justice. Pakistan was given time until 17 July to file its response. The Pakistan Foreign Office submitted a 400-page reply. Following the submission of a memorial and counter-memorial both by India and Pakistan, the ICJ will now hear the case once again in February 2019. The first round of oral arguments are likely to take place on 18th February when India will put forward its arguments, while Pakistan will do so the next day on the 19th of February. The second round of arguments are expected to take place on 21st and 22nd of February. Analysts say India will bring up Pakistan's vote in favor of the Vienna judgment before the ICJ during the arguments. With inputs from Leena Sharma, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Questions have been raised over Pakistani military court's death sentence to Kulbhushan Jadhav. There have been many such incidents where countries have approached the International Court of Justice against other countries violating international law while prosecuting their citizens. More details in our next report.
On April 10, 2017, the military court of Pakistan sentenced Kulbhushan Jadhav to death for alleged espionage. Pakistani Army spokesman Major General Asif Ghafoor gave this information on Twitter. In a press release, the Pakistani Army claimed Jadhav was arrested from Balochistan. But India has been questioning the Pakistani military court that conducted the proceedings. India pointed the inconsistency in Pakistan conducting hearing in a military court instead of civil courts. Further, Kulbhushan was not allowed time to even hire a lawyer nor for the custodian. Within a few hours, the military court gave the verdict.
And Mexico took the US government to the ICJ, and its contention was that Article 36 of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations had not been followed. And this article stipulates that consular access will be provided to the government of the country to which these detained persons were.
According to international law, this is a violation of human rights. Law experts call it a violation of Section 36(c)(1) of the Geneva Convention. They believe that even if Pakistan arrested Jadhav on false charges, they should have tried to conduct the proceedings in a civil court. Also, it is very difficult for any person accused under such sections to defend himself without a lawyer.
India took Pakistan to the International Court of Justice and demanded that consular access number one should be provided to the Indian government to access Kulbhushan Jadhav, And in any case, no documentation had been provided, no charge sheet had been provided, no evidence had been provided, there was no final judgment, copy of the final judgment also that had been provided. So all due processes of law had been flouted, none of them had been followed, and India took Pakistan to the International Court of Justice and made basically this Avina judgment as one of the strong pillars of its argument.
Article 36 of the Vienna Treaty says that urgent information of the arrest of any foreign citizen should be given to the embassy or consulate of that country. The name of the person, the place of arrest, and the reasons for the arrest also have to be reported to the concerned country. Under this section, the arrested person has the right to be able to meet his country's officials during the trial and get a lawyer to represent him. In the case of Kulbhushan Jadhav, Pakistan did not follow most of these rules.
International Court of Justice decree where the court ruled in favor of Mexico, which approached the court alleging that the United States had violated the Vienna Convention and other international rules which referred to citizens, its citizens, being tried in an American court without legal recourse and consular access. The court held that United States was guilty of violation of the various conventions that govern relations between states where citizens are concerned.
In the matter of the violation of Vienna Treaty, the International Court has given several decisions in the past. Paraguay went to the International Court of Justice against US on 3rd April 1998. The case was the death penalty given by the American court to Angel Francisco Briard, a citizen of Paraguay. Paraguay said that under Section 36 of the Vienna Treaty, Angel was not given the facility of a lawyer. After a long trial, the court ruled that America will not give the death penalty to Angel Francisco Briard. However, America overturned the court's decision and on 14th April 1998 executed Briard. But after this, the US expressed its regret and said that it will follow the Vienna Treaty in advance from here on. After this, Paraguay withdrew the matter from the court. Similarly, Germany appealed in the International Court of Justice against the US. Two Germans, Walter Lagra and Karl Lagra, were accused in 1982 of looting a bank and killing a person and wounding others. Karl Lagra was executed on 24th February 1999, whereas Walter Lagra was sentenced to be executed on March 3, 1999. A few hours before Walter's execution, Germany approached the International Court against the US. Germany claimed that they were both German citizens and under the Vienna Treaty, it did not inform them. America argued that both grew up in the US and considered themselves as Americans, so action was taken against them on this basis. Germany questioned the international law and the methods of capital punishment in America. Even before the court proceedings were completed, the other brother, Walter Lagra, was also executed. However, the court finally gave a decision in Germany's favor. Similarly, on January 9, 2003, Mexico challenged the US court verdict in the International Court of Justice. Mexico claimed that the US had sentenced its 54 civilians to death without informing. After the long proceedings, the court said that in the cases of 51 out of 54 people, Vienna Treaty was violated. Similarly, in the dispute between Costa Rica and Nicaragua, the International Court of Justice ordered to follow the Vienna Treaty. According to the international law, the signatory of the Vienna Treaty can't violate it. Since Pakistan has signed the Vienna Treaty, the violation of Kulbhushan Jadhav case is a violation of international law. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for a very short break on the program. We'll be right back.
to expect in 2019?
The world is changing constantly, and India has to be flexible in 2019 to take care of its interests, but at the same time to make sure that our main area of action would be in Asia.
So Congress is our bulwark for promoting our interests. We need to concentrate a lot more on Capitol Hill in 2019.
How do we manage the spreading Chinese influence, and how do we work it out with smaller partners in a way which is not seen as intruding on their sovereignty, but at the same time protecting our interests? It's a thin, it's a narrow tightrope act.
Delhi for centuries has nurtured many kingdoms and rulers. These kingdoms have left us several significant monuments with an incredible history to tell. Among these monuments is one which is in the midst of posh bungalows in Hauz Khas area, the Chor Minar. Built under the rule of Alauddin Khilji, telling a statement of his rule, is believed to have stood out as a deterrent for thieves and thugs who attempted to venture in his kingdom. Built in 13th century, the pillar is made of rubble masonry and stands at the center of a platform. Each of the four sides of the platform has three arched recesses with a doorway on one side leading to a spiral staircase. The pillar, also believed to be known as the Tower of Thieves, was used to display the severed heads of the thieves and thugs through its 225 holes.
Welcome back. You're watching India. India and Pakistan have for 2 years stood their ground with regard to the Kulbhushan Jadhav case in the International Court of Justice. Here's an in-depth look into the ongoing Jadhav case from the day he got arrested till date.
On 3rd March 2016, former Indian naval officer Kulbhushan Jadhav was arrested reportedly from Balochistan after he entered from Iran. Few days later, Pakistan released a video of Jadhav purportedly confessing of being an Indian spy. According to the Pakistani law, Jadhav was found guilty of espionage under Section 59 of Pakistan Army Act 1952 and Section 3 of Official Secrets Act of 1923. On March 26, 2016, the Indian government claimed there was no proof that Jadhav, who owns a cargo business in Iran, was arrested in Balochistan. Then, on March 29th same year, India sought of consular access to Jadhav from Pakistan. Over the next 1 year, India made 16 such requests that were denied by Pakistan.
Basically, again, it is really been in 2018 that it had come to the fore. And what India's contention is that Kulbhushan Jadhav was arrested not in Pakistan but actually from Iran, from Chabahar, where he was conducting legal business in shipping business, and he's been engaged in that for many years. And that he was a naval officer, but he retired many years ago and he had entered into business.
Next year, on April 10, 2017, a Pakistani army court sentenced Kulbhushan Jadhav to death for his involvement in espionage and sabotage of activities against Pakistan. India warned Islamabad that it is a case of premeditated murder. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj asserted in both the Houses of Parliament that India will go out of way to ensure justice to Jadhav, who is an innocent kidnapped Indian. India also demanded from Pakistan a certified copy of the charge sheet as well as the judgment in the death sentence of Kulbhushan Jadhav and sought again for consular access to him. India officially seeks from Pakistan details of the trial proceedings against Kulbhushan Jadhav as well as the appeal process in the case. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj then wrote to the then Pakistan Foreign Affairs Advisor Sartaj Aziz requesting visa for Jadhav's family. After failed attempts, India approached the International Court of Justice at Hague against Pakistan military court's decision. On May 9, 2017, ICJ stayed Jadhav's execution. Both India and Pakistan remained at the crossroads as New Delhi demanded the immediate suspension of Jadhav's death sentence, while Islamabad accused India of using world body as a stage for political theatre through a misconceived plea. However, a 10-member bench of the ICJ on May 18, 2017 restrained Pakistan from executing Jadhav till adjudication of the case. Pakistan, however, said that the ruling by the ICJ did not change the status of the case, even as the opposition party leaders attacked the government's handling of the matter at The Hague.
He was a serving naval officer and he had been arrested from Pakistani soil, and he had been trying to create problems and difficulties and carry out terrorist actions against the state of Pakistan.
10 days after the ICJ's order, Pakistan claimed to have fresh evidence against Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav. On June 22, 2017, the Pakistani military announced that Kulbhushan Jadhav had filed a mercy petition with Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa. Jadhav filed the mercy plea with a confessional statement that he was involved in subversive activities in Balochistan. Pakistan yet again rejected India's request for consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav when both the countries were scheduled to exchange lists of prisoners under a 2008 agreement. On July 13, 2017, Pakistan said it was studying a visa application of the mother of Kulbhushan Jadhav to meet him. India had requested Pakistan to allow Avantika Jadhav to meet her son. But the Ministry of External Affairs said India had not got any information on change in visa and consular position in the Jadhav case. In October 2017, Pakistan started the process to file its plea in response to India's representation submitted in the International Court of Justice against the death sentence of Jadhav. The ICJ had asked Pakistan to submit its written response or memorial by December 13th before the court could start further proceedings. A small breakthrough came on November 10, 2017, when Pakistan offered India a meeting of Jadhav with his wife on humanitarian grounds. Pakistan then said that it will allow the wife and mother of alleged Kulbhushan Jadhav to meet him on humanitarian grounds on 25th December. It allowed them to be accompanied by an Indian embassy official as requested by New Delhi. In between, Pakistan filed a counter memorial before the ICJ against India's plea to prevent execution of Jadhav. Then, on December 25, 2017, the wife and the mother of Kulbhushan Jadhav met him for 40 minutes at the Foreign Office in Islamabad, while Deputy Indian High Commissioner and Pakistani officials listened in on the conversation outside. The International Court of Justice fixed April 17th and July 17th, 2018 as deadlines for India and Pakistan respectively for filing of the written pleadings in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case.
Jadhav was living in Iran, doing legitimate business in Iran, and Pakistan had no business abducting him in a third country and taking him to Pakistan in order to continue its various types of low-intensity conflicts against India. Pakistan has refused consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Pakistan has used all sorts of methods to make him confess to crimes which he does not appear to have committed.
The ICJ is slated to hold a 4-day public hearing in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case at The Hague starting February 18, 2019. A statement issued by the principal judicial organ of the United Nations said on 3rd of October. With input from Leena Sharma, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's it from us in today's edition of In Depth. We'll be